Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. A channel where I recently checked out the second Run the Jewels project and have done the first and fourth. So this is actually the only one so far that I have yet to check out. And some people have claimed, even since the release of their last album, which I considered to be perfect, that this is still their best album. So I'm very curious to see what it is that makes this one as great as it is. We're going to be breaking this down into two different parts. We got 51 minutes here and 14 songs. First 7 in this part, second 7 in next part. Let's get right into it with the first track, Down, featuring Joy. Very gradual fade in on this track as it appears. Okay, I was kind of waiting for that to hit like really heavy and just come in like that. This sounds very epic, I guess is a good word for it. I only spit fire and dope, poking that pressure. And he's smart as a professor. Yes, sir. 25 lighters on dresser. Pound that pressure. Sitting right next. Really like that? That was very relevant at this time, I do believe. Unless that was after the fact. This is a really nice hook. Very smooth. I feel like that's kind of unfitting to be yelling on a really smooth track like this. I feel like LP's verse was a little bit too aggressive for what this is going for, but I mean, still solid verse. Yeah, it's still a little unfitting. I really like these synthesizers on this section though. Okay, so of course, as typical, that was a awesome transition. Cool little intro track, kind of getting us into the regular mood for a Run the Jewels album, but it was interesting that they decided to start it out with a slower cut on this record as opposed to the very fast ones that are on the other ones. Other than that, not a whole lot to say about that song that I didn't already. So next track is Talk to Me. Yeah, and this sounds just great with those like really loud keys mixed with everything else that's going on in here. Very environmental mix. This is a lot more like what I would expect from an intro. I like those very distorted guitar riffs in the back there. And Killer Mike's flow here is nothing to scoff at either. Ooh. Damn. Definitely back that last couple lines of the verse there. It's great. RTJ3 motherfuckers. Hell yeah. These record scratches? Yes. Okay, so it's almost like we got an intro to the intro on this album, because that is far more on par with the other ones that they've done, and I don't mean that by a quality standpoint. I just mean that was a very aggressive, hard-hitting track, whereas that is usually what I'd come to expect from the first track, given the other 3 albums that I've heard from them. Interesting approach not to do that necessarily the same way here, and I really did like the aggressive attitude and production style that was given. Some really good, like, punchy one-liners on that track in particular. Great stuff. Loved it. Next track is Legend Has It. This is interesting. Ooh, that dropped so heavy. It's flow. So good. Love LP on here. Damn. Getting me with the right to left panning on there. That's cool.
The myth is my mama's a murderous queen. Yo, I get in like in Godfather 1. You get my dick in a box. We get a doozy.
Beat goes so hard, dude. Damn. I still can't believe there's just one guy producing this. Flows are so good on this track. I feel like the reverb on the vocals is a little too much right now, but that's my only complaint on it. Jeez, half of the time with how well these flow into each other, I just kind of feel like not even saying anything about the song and just letting the next one play. It's really tempting. 10 verses on there. I think that's the most that I've ever seen on one of their songs. I can't be entirely sure of that, but that's pretty fucking many if you ask me. That was one hell of a banger right there. Yeah, great wordplay, very clever ways of delivering lines on there, but the delivery itself was most prominent, and it really is in these kind of Run the Jewels songs. Shit, every single word just feels like it just jumps off the page at you in a way. And the mixing on the beat especially was just phenomenal. Really solid stuff. Yeah, I like that a lot. I mean, I don't really know what else there is to say about it that I haven't already. Not that I didn't love it, because of course I fucking did. Call Ticketron is the name of the next track, and I'm not sure what the fuck a Ticketron is. Named after an automated concert ticket purchasing system, Call Ticketron is a classic Run the Jewels bragfest. Okay, well, at least we know what we're getting into. Going right into it, and it dropped so heavy. Damn. What is going on? Damn. ATLians is something they've mentioned before. It's kind of a callback, I think, to RTJ3 actually. Seen a lot of LP on this track and not complaining. But it still manages to just like be such a interesting outro. But as I was saying before the next track started on me again, their ability to make unique bangers is quite the fucking skill. I need a new chair. This one won't stay up. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen one of these days, I'm trying to tell you. But yeah, the mixing of the actual like robot voice Ticketron thing with LP's voice on the hook, very cool. Lots of just, you know, as the bio said it before we even got into this, it's the typical affair of them just kind of talking their shit, doing the braggadocious stuff, just saying a bunch of really badass stuff over a badass beat, doing badass things. That's just really what Run the Jewels is all about. And you know what? Who would I be to complain about it? Who would I have any reason? Hey Kids featuring Danny Brown is the next track, and I can tell this one's gonna be good. I love me some Danny Brown. Seeing Danny Brown and Run the Jewels on a track. Oh, I'm excited. Let's get into it. The mixing always gets me.
Hello to the masters on behalf of the class, simulated happy and burning hashes. Killer did him with him like his will and get him, hit him, got him, shot him and flipped the matches. Woo! I'm the man, bitch. Got big idea, rhyme ridiculous. Enemy grave, he digging it. Then we pissing it. Us go to hell, we pinning it, getting it. Hey.
That verse was quite the fucking thing.
Hey kids, I'm the fucking tits, I hold no regard for no fucking myth. Hey, I have to run, killers of the earth get scared. You do not get one word, you do not live for the herd.
LP gets better every project. This is something I'm noticing, because this is the best I've really heard him outside of some of the parts of Run the Jewels 4. Hearing Danny on this is just wild. Damn. That one was pretty dope. Danny on the end of that. Save the best for last. That's always how you gotta do it with the features like that, because Killer Mike and LP did a really solid job on that track, don't get me wrong, but Danny just stole the show at the end there with his, you know, very avant-garde flow, delivery, of course. I mean, you know the dude within like a second of hearing him. There's been tracks before that somebody has played along with me, and don't get me wrong, I've never heard certain Danny Brown songs or songs with Danny Brown in it, obviously, but you can always tell right when he hops on a track, and I'm so glad that Danny Brown has never ditched his style in favor of something that would be more mass appeal. He's so unique, and hearing him over such unique beats is just fucking perfect. It really is. It works super well. Stay Gold is the name of the next song, and I'm feeling like that might be a reference to The Outsiders. I definitely had to read that book like 2 or 3 different times in middle school, so it's jogging the memories up there. Oh yeah, definitely is. Wow, I didn't know this. I just clicked on the annotation, the first line's here, and it says Killer Mike's son is named Ponyboy, and this draws a parallel with The Outsiders. Yeah, that's dope. That's really cool. I had no idea of that fact, and I quite like that. That's unique. Of course, kind of sticking to the theme of celebrities naming their kids weird shit, but at least this has a meaning behind it, so I guess I gotta credit him for that. Beat is crazy already. Loving that already.
You're gonna love how we ride to the gate. Every time that we park the bus, and it's time to go.
I got a good thing with a bad bitch. Not your average guy. She play she get home runs like I like those fucking guys. Hey, I know the guys love a pumpkin pie.
Hey, gold. G-O-L-D, G-O-L-D. That's basic song for my
Boy, G get old and his heart grow cold. I go. For every year my career was slow, it seemed that it wouldn't go. And you should know.
Cash for those, cash for fake, go to cruise. Make my own go to boost.
LP is having such great flows on this project. I'm specifically noticing that. Oh, I really like the sounds he's done here. Really cool samples. Alright, that's possibly the most underwhelming song on the album so far. The only reason I say that is because so clearly, especially with Killer Mike, I mean, the meaning behind the book and the fact that this title is a reference to it, I mean, he named his son after one of the characters, so follow me here, that this means a lot to him. So then I'm not really quite sure why you'd go turn this into like a party banger type song. Like that doesn't really totally add up for me. If you're gonna kind of include your son in this part of the song, include a similar reference that his name is, I just don't understand why we were having such like light subject matter, I guess. Nothing would have changed if you just called this song Gold instead of Stay Gold. Like it's a little rough around the edges just for that reason for me, but other than that, it was a solid track. Just sonically and lyrically, one of the more underwhelming ones so far as well, but that's not saying it's bad. That's just saying it's not quite as great and amazing as the other ones. So do keep that in mind when I say things like that. I did still really like most of the aspects of it. Facial recognition is picking up the fucking Death Grips album in the background. Alright, so Don't Get Captured is the name of the last song that we're going to be taking a look at. This is such an ominous way to start the track. I quite like that. Whoa, those synths are sounding pretty fucking good if I do say so myself. We got all the illusions going on in these last two tracks. This went from sounding really eerie to now very cinematic and well built up, and I like that quite a bit. Holy shit, that was the hook? Alright. There's a lot of record scratches on this album too, and I
quite like that as well.
I really like this flow that they're both using. It's a nice flow. So climactic.
Don't get captured.
Wow, that outro is just... Okay, very solid track. Another one. Can't complain about really anything that I've heard on here so far. This might be the best instrumental. That instrumental was crazy climactic as far as that goes. Damn, I'm really impressed with how everything sounds on this album. Yeah, a lot of like pop culture references in these last two songs. I did notice that. Very interesting approach, I guess. This almost felt like a Halloween themed track, and I'm looking at one still frame from the music video, and there's a bunch of like skeletons all over the place and shit. Yeah, I feel like that's definitely what they were going for here, and it did sound that way. I've liked pretty much everything I've heard so far. Really excited to hear the second part of this, and the second part of my reaction will be coming out tomorrow, so do stay tuned for that. And yeah, if it is up, it will be linked here, I do believe. So if it's there, then it's up. If it's not there, then it's probably not up yet, or I forgot to put the link. But either way, see you in part 2.